Good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Welcome to episode 3 of the Ruffians on Roll4Damage. My name is Agent Number 1, also known as Kieran, and I'm going to be your DM this evening. I have a few quick thank yous to get out of your way before we get started. First off, I want to thank our amazing artist, Brepai. She does all of the character art for our channel. You can see Lydia on screen right now. Absolutely lovely. Check her out. She's got links down below. Second, I want to shout out Wonders and Blunders. Bit of a self-plug here. This is a podcast that's been going for a little over a year with weekly episodes, tightly edited 1-hour episodes, featuring myself, old Sloop Brine Scale over there, and a cast of other characters here up in Canada. Lastly, I want to thank Nerds of the West, our Western Australian board game channel, sister channel. They're a great group of people who we steal players from and we give players to them. They're absolute joys. Go check them out. They're on Twitch, and there will be links there in the chat. So I, starting off, just want to introduce all of the characters, or should I say, let them introduce themselves. I'm going to go in a little backwards order this time, and we're going to start over on the right-hand side there with Mike playing Sloop Brine Scale. Mike, tell us a little about yourself, where else we can find you, and who Sloop is.
So I'm Mike Friday. I'm the DM for the Wonders and Blunders podcast, as was previously mentioned. You should definitely check it out. It's very cute. It's also kind of a horror comedy vibe. It's very strange, and probably best if you just go binge the whole thing. You'll get a really good feel for how it sounds if you hear all of it. You can check us out at wonderandblunder.com or on Twitter at wonderandblunder. And I play Sloop Brine Scale, who is a little kobold pirate. He's he blew up some barrels yesterday, had a very good time doing that. So he's getting ready for a big party. He's got a hook for a tail.
Excellent. I will pass it over to Shelby, who's playing Era.
Hi, I'm Shelby. I'm from the channel Wystle While You Work. You can find me on YouTube or on Twitter. I just tell little stories about my D&D adventures and draw whatever comes to mind. You can find me on Twitter at WhistleWhist, Wystle, or at Wystle While You Work on both YouTube and Instagram. I am playing Era Blackwood, who is the slightly bitchy party necromancer, and right now she's very disappointed in her cat, who has failed her.
Very true. Let's pass it over to the other side, where we have Lydia being played by Shannon.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Shannon, and I'm playing Miss Lydia Ray, our pirate monk. And you can find me at ParadiceRPG, and I'm all over Twitter at sruby25. Instagram is the same handle. We play our flagship show, Advantage in Paradise, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And my good friend Sean is our DM.
Sounds like a perfect segue over to Sean, who will be playing Django.
Hello, everybody. Yes, as Shannon said, my name is Sean. I am the DM for Advantage in Paradise and the ParadiceRPG channel. We've got a lot going on over there, so please check us out. We just started a new show where I go over some of my hand-drawn maps and some lore for our homebrew world for our show. So check us out if you want. You can find me on all social media at Odo_Sean, ODO_SEAN. I just unified all my individual accounts to that one name, so it's easy for people. Nice. I play Django Weatherby Teague, an eloquent bard who gets himself into a lot of trouble.
Excellent. And just to shout out the channel, of course, Roll4Damage here. We're a D&D Western Australian focused channel, but we play in a couple of different time slots, like today, which is Friday night with an all North American crowd. And they have a bunch of other games that go on during the week on Monday nights, Friday nights Australian time, Thursday nights Australian time. There's going to be links in the chat. You can check them all off down below. There's lots of info. It's a really great crowd, a really great group of people who have been doing this on Twitch for I think it's at least a year now, but kicking butt. So without further ado, I think that's all the thank yous I need to get out of the way. Somebody will tell me if not. I'm going to pass it over to Shelby, who's going to give us a recap of what has happened in the last 2 sessions.
The last
briefly.
2.
Yeah,
Well-
you could give a general overview about what you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are doing here.
I have notes. I was prepared for the last session. Dang it. Okay.
Well, you could do the last session. We can fill in the rest. If you want.
So last session we left when we started. We were contemplating whether or not we were going to set Django on fire to cause a distraction before Lydia and Sloop found some very special barrels full of gunpowder being shipped into I believe it was the Aaron family warehouse.
Correct.
So while they were off trying to set a gunpowder trail to blow the entire warehouse up and start sowing the seeds of discord, Era and Django ended up getting caught having to fake a lover's quarrel. Django got slapped twice and we ended up running off from guards and both of us managing to elude them. Lydia did an amazing swan dive into the ocean and poor Sloop had to schlep his way through the sewers, and while he was down there found a very interesting room full of inactive stone orcs just waiting for a dose of dragon's blood, which we so happened to have also picked up while we were in the Aaron family warehouse. Currently, Lydia and Django met a captain of a ship named Captain Sybil, who spoke of a strange arcane phenomenon that she was in town investigating, while Sloop and Sloop and Era went to the Temple of Galador to try and investigate this room full of orcs that really shouldn't be there. As I said, Era sends her cat to look, but the cat got sidetracked by a mouse. And I believe that is the gist of what happened.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the group is in town to sow some chaos and mess the town up before an army arrives in a few days. They've collected a bunch of different leads, of which they are exploring. And so when we last left off, Era and Sloop, you had just unsuccessfully cat navigated the temple. And Django and Lydia, you were inside talking to Captain Sybil, who told you to basically look into any kind of arcane disturbances in the city that she was tracking down, that she would be kind of in the tavern today, but that after today, she would be back at her boat, the Queen's Reckoning, and that if you had any more information, that you could find her there. So let's. I guess we'll start with the temple crew, because maybe they have a plan for what they're doing here, for what they're looking for. So when we last left off, you guys were just outside of the temple.
All right. Well, first, I'm not going to trust my cat anymore, and I'm going to put her on my shoulders and just let her stay there, because clearly she can't do this job. So, Sloop, you have any ideas?
Well, I mean, it's a temple. We can probably just, stroll in, pretend that we're there to worship and such, and maybe just poke around ourselves.
All right. Well, after you.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll just stroll through the front doors, put on a big show, like checking out statues very closely, like,
yes, fine. Workmanship, very well for Galandor.
Yeah, so the temple itself, it actually doesn't have front doors. It is a kind of open pavilion of a temple. It's lined with pillars on the outside. I noted most of it's made of a mixture of ship masts and sandstone blocks. But the actual kind of temple itself has this large statue outside, and then you go into this domed over central area where there is a pool of water sitting on the inside of the temple, an altar at the end, and sets of balconies that ring the upper rows, like up within the roof, that also look out over the market square.
So, in the pool of water, if I approach it, Does it look like there is a central drain in this pool that may perhaps lead to something?
It does not. The pool of water is it's a very crystal clear water. It's not quite the same consistency as the seawater itself, but seems very, very purified.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'd just ask if while we're looking around, can we roll like a general perception to see if anything sticks out as seemingly unusual? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Galandor is a god mostly worshipped by elves. I'd imagine I've probably been at least one or two of these before.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll a perception for me.
All right.
Can I assist that in any way? Like trying to point out the general area where I thought maybe the basement might have been?
I'd appreciate the assistance because that roll was horrible.
I'll let you make a separate roll, specifically because she's trying to draw on her heritage of understanding it.
Well, that was a 7, so I'm guessing nothing looks out of place.
Yeah. So Era, as you look around, you do feel that this is like, it's not the nicest temple you've seen. It's certainly not as nice as like a lot of the temples would be back in the Galakine homelands, but it is fairly standard. The pool of water in the center is a typical central figure, as he is the god of oceans, of the sea, of storms, and the like. These statues and whatnot outside are all fairly nondescript. Just kind of general, the general feel of a temple that you've seen before. Sloop, you do know, you do remember kind of where the door was and the chamber that these orcs statues were in. There are a set of doors in the back. There are 2 doors in the back of the room, kind of behind the main altar, like the preaching altar. And you would believe that the navigation would kind of lead you to believe that there must be something back there that would lead to that door.
So I kind of walk up to the pool.
Oh, yes, and the beautiful pool for Galen. It's down in the back. There's 2 doors down in the back. I think that's the way.
So, like, you physically see 2 doors back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, how do I want to do this? Is there anyone else in this temple with us right now?
There are a few just general kind of commoners about praying, and you do see that there is a like priest walking around.
Okay.
You do note unusually that he is a Barakeen or a dwarf, so he is quite small and unusual for a temple to an elven god.
Okay. All right. Sloop, you're a lot better at sneaking than I am. Can you potentially, if I get the attention of the priest, do you think you'd be able to slip back there?
Yeah, I think I can get down there. I wonder what we can do once I do. I have a couple of tricks in my bag to, start a couple of small fires, but I don't have the firepower to take out a bunch of, orcs.
Well, they're not active yet. Do you think maybe we should wait? Let Lydia and Django know that we might know where exactly they are. Come back at night.
Well, I'll try to get in there. We can get some good intel to give them, and then come back once we find that ship full of black powder. I can't wait for that.
All right. Well, I'll go talk to the priest, and I'll try and give you as much time as you can.
Okay. I'm gonna do the old exterminator gag if I get caught.
Hey. Oh God, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I'll give you a moment to think about it as we cut back to Django and Lydia within the tavern.
Please, all right. Thank you.
So Django and Lydia, yeah, you've just said your hellos and goodbyes, really, to Captain Sybil, who has gone back to her sets of papers and markings and maps on the table, and has kind of engulfed herself back into her own work.
We'll leave you to your work. And then Django will head to the opposite side of the room to an empty table.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And then I'll go follow him.
She gives you a smile and a nod, but then quickly just kind of goes back to what she's doing.
What do you make of her?
I don't quite know yet. She seems intelligent, for sure. What impression did you get?
Oh, well, I like her. She seems...
I like everyone.
What's not to like about everyone?
Where do you suppose we should start?
Well, we should keep her in mind for the... just in case this information we've learned, or at least whatever our compatriots can gather from the temple. For now, though, perhaps we should do some investigative work, see what we can find out about Pippa Erin and her disappearance.
That's right. It's got to be connected. It's somehow.
Now, where do you think we should start?
Well, the good gossip happens around the marketplace, so maybe we just go hang out there for a little while.
After you, my dear.
We'll lead the way out the door.
Yeah. So as you leave the door to the tavern, you make your way out into this. Again, it's a very foggy day. There's kind of been a thick fog that's rolled in throughout the entire city that happened overnight. But you have no problem making your way to the marketplace. It's pretty much just around the corner from the Beggar and Cask. And you can see that it is lively-ish with the kind of regular merchants and whatnot that exist throughout the week. But it is not as lively as you know it to be on weekends when the people from nearby villages and stuff come in to get their goods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Looking around the marketplace, what sort of stalls or shops are around? Which one, is there one that looks particularly, being in this area as high class as it could be?
Make a investigation check for me.
Sure thing.
Yeah, that's a decent
there we
check.
I was like, where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is.
So
There you go.
the bulk of the main marketplace where you are kind of outside of the temple is primarily made up of things like fishmongers, farmer stalls from a couple of like the outlying farms in the area, firewood vendors and the like. But you do find that there are a couple of craftsmen who have set up in this area. But in general, even looking for really high-end stuff, it doesn't seem like this trade market is precisely where to be. Like this seems to serve the lower class of the city more than it would the nobility.
Okay. I'll turn to Lydia.
But
Jang.
sorry, I will give you, because you did credit, I will give you in looking around and asking around with a couple of people, they do point you towards Market Row, which is just kind of north of the market, leads a winding path up the cliffside, this kind of 3-story cliff that the dock district sits within. There is this winding path up the cliffside, and they say that a lot of the noble goods, a lot of the finer goods would be found there in the city.
Okay. All right, so Django will turn to Lydia and just say, not much to be said for this lot, darling. I think we might need to be finding ourselves among the upper echelon to be asking about someone as noble as a member of House Aaron.
I think you're right. It makes sense. We should keep our eye out for something to wear for the party as well.
Well, we aren't going to find it down here.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's go.
You say it's just like a cart full of like stinking fish crosses in between the two of you.
Those fish definitely know something we don't,
Yes.
but we'll never know. All right, so Django will start heading up towards the market row.
Yeah. So the market row, it's not far. It's just a couple of streets up before you hit the cliff face. And it is this one kind of main drag that as you go in and turn right, works its way up the cliff. There are large shops on both sides of all sorts of different types: jewelers, clothers, furniture shops, porcelain shops, alchemists and enchanters. And then at the very top of the street, you can see this one large complex, looks like a residential house, that overlooks more or less the entire city from this vantage point on top of the cliffs. After that, you can see that it turns left at the top of the street and works its way into the more or less the sprawling suburbs past that.
Well, this is more like it. More up our alley.
Certainly. So the sprawling residential house looking over all of this, is that the location the Masquerade is going to be at?
I will let
Or
you
would I
piece
know
that
that?
together because you have
Okay.
the invitations. Yes, you do know
Yeah.
that this is the near a family mansion.
Okay.
Certainly, if you didn't, you could ask someone, "Hey, what's that?" And they
We
would.
don't know.
You dumb git.
Get back down to the lower market. All right. So Django will look to Lydia and just say, well, I suppose we should start wherever a noble house might frequent. Jeweler, perhaps.
All right. Let's go look for one. And I'll keep an eye out and see if there's some sort of jewelry around.
Yeah, you come across a shop called the Ruby Chain. That seems to be the local jewelry shop, or the main jewelry shop on this drag. And you have no problem going inside.
Okay.
I think as you come in, you feel a lot of eyes on you. This is very much one of these traditional, glass counters, glass cabinets with a lot of kind of smash and grab goods, so to speak. And you do have the appearance of two pirates walking into the shop.
We should have thought about that before we came in here.
Well, Django will kind of slip his arms into his coat to at least give himself some cover, even though it is a dirty pirate coat. And I guess he'll kind of saunter up to the glass case and sort of turn his head back to Lydia and then turn his head to the clerk and say, "Good morning. A pleasure to meet you on this fine day. I come with interest in purchasing a lovely ring for my bonny lass back there."
Well, most excellent. A beautiful group, the two of you are. What kind of thing particularly are you looking for?
Oh, well, something big and beautiful and something that reminds us of the sea. See, we met on the sea.
Certainly. And you can see that she kind of like looks you up and down and looks Lydia up and down and looks across her cases and thinks for a few moments, and then goes to the side and pulls out this murky aquamarine stone set within a ring. You can tell that it's seen some better days. Looks like it might be a bit of an antique, but she notes, we'd have to do a bit of a polish up. But if this is the kind of size you're looking for, or within your budget, it may be suitable.
Oh, my dear, come.
Yes.
Take a look. Take a look at this ring. Does it suit your needs?
Oh, it's beautiful. but I think it's a bit too small. Bigger.
Bigger. Certainly. And she goes and she kind of leaves this on the table in front of you, and then goes and starts digging around in the back. And she comes out with a necklace of opal insetted gems. There's quite a number of them, and they're these solid white gems that sparkle like rainbows, kind of as it reflects in the light. Now, I mean, this is more of a necklace in style, but if you were looking for a ring, we do have things we could do. I'm simply looking for, more gems for you.
Oh, those are much more like it. What do you think, darling?
You see Django's taken the scarf off of his belt and starts to just like dab his forehead a little. Oh, I do believe those are marvelous. Something perhaps befit to one of the princely houses, perhaps even House Aaron.
Oh, certainly. This would be quite a shining gem for them. I believe the Ratcliffes have shown a bit more of a fancy towards the opals, but frankly, they're beautiful on just about any neck.
Well, do you do much service, much business with the princely houses?
Well, certainly. We're the best jeweler in town.
No,
I can see why.
Certainly. Shame what happened at the Aaron's warehouse.
Oh, I
Dreadful.
know. We're all just hoping it was some sort of a tipped over lantern or something of the sort. Horrible for that to happen to such a gentle and kind family.
Yes. Shame so much has befallen that house, so much woe.
Well, I mean, things seem to be mostly looking up for them. I've heard they've gotten an invite to the big party. It's been all the buzz around town.
Well,
Oh,
wasn't that
yes.
the family? Wasn't that the family that was missing someone?
Oh, I
Was
did
that a
hear
different one?
some dreadful rumor that the Pip and Aaron may have gone missing.
Make a persuasion check or deception check. I guess persuasion, because this is a true thing that you have heard.
It's not a lie to us. Okay.
All right.
Nice.
17?
Nothing to scoff at.
17.
Pipper, no, I hadn't heard he's gone missing. So
This is
suppose
dreadful news.
it's been some time since we've seen him around at all.
Yeah, when was the last time anyone heard from him?
Took the words right out of my mouth, darling.
I mean, he was in here about a month ago, bought a beautiful set of ruby earrings. I don't know. He's a bit of a regular on the streets.
Oh, well, we are so looking forward to meeting him and some of the other errands. As you see, my darling and I, we also have an invitation to the party tonight, or tomorrow night, right?
Well, that is quite a fancy affair. It's tomorrow night, yes.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
And pray tell, what do you do to have earned yourself such a reputable invite?
Oh, well, you see, we've made quite a bit of wealth at sea as merchant sailors. A bit of a couple commanding our own ships.
Oh, it's beautiful.
See, we've heard these nasty rumors when we came in at port before coming up here to more respectable streets.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't trust everything you hear in the docks. People down there sling all kinds of mud.
Certainly. Now, have you, just curious, since we'll be amongst the families tonight, is there anything else you may have heard happening recently? Any news or gossip about the princes?
About the princes? Well, I mean, all three families have so much going on all the time. I wouldn't know where to start.
We do love a good story.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard that the A large reason for this masquerade is so that two of the families, the Aarons and the Neres, can come to a trade agreement. It's kind of been all the buzz about town. It means prosperity for everyone here.
Always good to bury old conflicts.
Yes.
Now, what did the Ratcliffes think of this?
Oh, well. Make a persuasion check.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Well, between you and me, I wouldn't care much about what they think. Frankly, they're, well, they lack the finer graces than the other families do. Let's put it at that. But they seem plenty busy themselves. They've got that disgusting new boat in the harbor, and it's been a real eyesore. I'll be glad when it's fully packed up and ready to leave.
What ship is that?
But surely, and she kind of goes to like one of the side windows and points down to the southern part of town, and you can see that there is a massive like man of war being built. It is pretty much the largest boat you have ever seen, outside of maybe like a Royal Gallic, part of something from like the Royal Gallican Navy. It is a monstrous galleon.
Oh, that one. Yes, I do remember.
Yes. They've been building it at an alarming rate, frankly. I don't know where they've gotten the money from, but, well, it seems to be going up rather fast, and then hopefully it can leave and never come back.
What on earth would they need such a vessel for, of such monstrous, grotesque size?
Oh, trading, presumably. Could fit a lot of goods in a boat like that.
That you could. Seems a bit superfluous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but here I am running my mouth about the families when I should be talking more about this amazing necklace.
Certainly.
Are you decided on it, or is there
Oh, I just
anything
don't
else you'd
know.
like to see?
And what does a necklace like this go for?
This one would be, and she kind of holds it up and looks at the like a tag on the back and says, "This one will run about 10,000 gold."
Oh well, that is lavish.
Finally made from the mountains of Barramuns. I mean, you won't find anything like this again.
So unique. What do you say, darling?
Well, I believe we might want to look around and see where we can spread our coin, but we'll certainly return, because you've given us so many options. Beautiful.
Of course. If
stone
there's
pattern
anything
work.
else you need in a more financiable range, we have other options as well. Don't forget, we'll be here all week, every week.
Certainly, mate. I understand what you mean. If we are in search of treasures, you'll be the first for us to return to. Savvy.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Oh, and do keep all that stuff to yourself. I'd hate to be known as the town gossip all of a sudden.
Oh, wouldn't dream of it, mate. We
You
won't
can
tell a
trust
soul.
us.
And yeah, you make your way out of the shop back into the street, as we'll cut back to the temple.
All right. Just in advance, I'm sorry if my camera's shaking. My cat has invaded my space. So.
That is more than all right.
All right. All right, Sloop. I'll go talk to the priest. Give you as much time as I can. If something goes wrong, you'll be able to get out, right?
Oh yeah, they're not gonna catch me.
All right. Well, then I'm going to just kind of casually walk away from Sloop. Just, looking at the different little things in the temple, gazing around at the little central pool before I approach the priest. Excuse me, sir.
Oh, hello there, lass.
Hello. I was just curious. Oh, there he goes. I was just curious. I wasn't aware there was a Galandor temple here.
Well, of
Not
course
something
there
we-
is. I mean,
Oh.
Galandor has given his blessing on Adrithel for many years. This town here was founded by beautiful Galakeen such as yourself.
Oh, you're too kind. I think maybe last time I was here, I just missed it. Could you tell me how long has it been here? I'd love to hear some of the history.
Well, I mean, you're right to think that we're not the oldest temple around. We are in the newer part of town compared to the old place, but up north the
Many
shore.
years since I've been here, so.
Oh, well, it's... well, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, the history of Adrithel was founded up north when the elves came in and landed on the beaches, dragged their boats up onto the shores, and made their way. As the town grew, eventually it saw a need for more than just shrines, but a proper temple.
Of course.
So
So,
it's been a couple of 100 years here now, I dare say, but I haven't been the father for that whole time. No, it's going on 30 years, I'd say.
oh, that's interesting. Again, I it's a shame I didn't see this beautiful temple before. It's truly lovely and very well taken care of.
Oh, thank you kindly.
And I'm just kind of like dragging this conversation on, looking over at Sloop, like giving him a look, like,
can you make either a performance or a deception check?
ooh, okay. Why was I not a rogue for this? If I could, hold on. Sorry, Roll20's being a little slow. Performance or
Deception.
They are the same, so I'm just gonna hope for the best.
13, okay. And Sloop, you are making your way to the back doors?
Yeah, just again looking at all the little statues and just
Oh, beautiful garden. I bet these were wonderful ships. Oh, what's back here?
and going up to those doors in the back.
Can you make a stealth check for me?
Sure. 18.
Rogues,
Okay.
man.
He's gotten a 16 on his perception to see you. You are able to go back and make your way to the door, and you see that Ira has kind of engaged him in this fascinating conversation about the history of Adrithel and its founding. And you are able to kind of click open one of these doors and slip through if you so choose.
Yeah, so next time Ira looks back to check on my progress, I take off my hat and give it a little flourish and then go in through the door and close it behind me.
Yeah. So you enter Sloop into a small hallway. There are basically four doors. Nope. There are 3 doors on both ends of the hallway, and then in the middle there is a small shrine and statue.
So 3 doors?
3 doors, yeah.
Okay.
On both ends. So kind of like on the ends and then on either side.
Okay. So I'm I'll go down and sort of stand next to the statue and just kind of like, eeny, meeny, miny, you, and go to one of the doors. I guess like the rightmost one.
Yeah, okay, the rightmost one from the statue. Okay, yeah. You go to it and it is locked.
I hate locked doors.
And then I'll go to
Never find locked doors.
I'll go to the next one to the left.
The next one next to that is it opens up to a staircase going up to the balcony.
Okay, not this one.
I'll close that and then go to the next one.
And the next one would be the other door going back into the temple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got lost.
If you've gone kind of down the hallway.
Right. Okay, I got my bearings. That's good. I know all 3 of these. Okay. Let's do it. Tail 1, 2, 3.
And I'll tap my tail on the ground, and then the thieves' tools extend out of the hook.
Sure.
And I'm gonna try to pick that lock.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not sleight of hand though, right? It's thieves' tools.
It's the same functional proficiency. It does not matter if a 14 does it. This is just a. You can see that these doors are not particularly like well made. Like you pretty much slip in the tool and just slide a bolt across. Like you can see through the planks a little bit of the door. Cool. And you open the door into what appears to be a storage room full of kind of crates and barrels and the like.
Okay. Well, I know this trick.
And I'm gonna start trying to root around under the barrels looking for like a trap door.
Sure, make an investigation.
I'm also like keeping an eye out for rats. Is that gonna go? There we go. Ooh.
Oh, advantage would have been lovely.
Advantage would have been lovely. Yeah, you start kind of like moving a couple of crates and looking under small carpets and the like, but you don't notice any trapdoors in this room. You have 2 more doors in the hallway as well that you have not explored.
Okay, so for now, I'll go back to those doors.
Yeah, I'll let you open one. It leads to the balcony on the other side, and the other door is locked.
Okay, let's break that one open.
And again, no, it's no problem. This one does have a bit of an actual proper lock on it, but you're able to slip through without issue. And as you open it up, you open up into what appears to be a living quarters. There's like a small kitchenette and a dining room, a bed, a writing desk, and yeah, you can tell that like this is clearly where the priest lives.
Oh, okay. This is a bit more interesting then.
So I'm going to investigate that room as well.
Go for it.
Same thing, looking for trapdoors.
You're primarily looking for trapdoors? Okay.
Yeah. 25.
25. You do not find a trapdoor, but you do find 2 different books in this room that are of particular interest to you. One of which seems to be a journal, just kind of like the father's journal. The other one appears to be a bit of an arcane tome that you don't immediately recognize, but as you flip through it, you do recognize the language as being Malakesh. And as you have a bit of a hard time deciphering exactly what it's for, but given your recent discoveries, you suspect it is a ritual book for creating orcs.
All right, I'm gonna stash both of those.
And yeah, in the journal, because assuming you want to flip through that quickly as well, you do read about that. It kind of talks. It's a lot of his day-to-day struggles of kind of what he's going through and what it's like being a priest in the town. But he does start talking about the statues in it. He specifically says how fascinated he is by the orcs. This idea that they've managed to find a way to bring like life into an inanimate object. And it does talk about his struggles at finding the components required in this spell book. Specifically, Dragon's Blood.
He has the components?
It does not sound like he has the components.
Okay, so I think Sloop, like while reading those things, has kind of just crawled onto the bed and has been like sitting on the bed with his feet up. And the more he reads, the more he like rubs his dirty boots into the sheets. Yeah. And he's like,
Stupid guy, he's no idea what he's fooling with. Oh, this is good though. Okay, now, okay, well, we can blow this place up. I won't feel it no bad no more.
And I'm going to, I'm just gonna trash the room.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna get you whatever. Oh my god. I'll get you to. Are you trying to stealthily trash the room, or are you causing a ruckus?
I think Sloop is upset that someone is messing around with orcs. Those orcs gave him a scare. They are basically designed to kill his people. So he is mad, and I think Sloop just flips out and is like, he flips over a table and he's like, tiny rage.
I'm gonna get you to roll a D100, and Ira, we're gonna cut back to you chatting to the priest.
Jesus, does Sloop have a level in Barbarian I don't know about? All right, that's very, very fascinating. Again, like I said, it's been many years, 40, 50 years since I've been here.
So tell me, what kind of things did brought you to Adrithel in the first place? You don't seem like much of a sailor or a trader.
Oh, just some research, actually. I'm a bit of a scholar in the arcane, and I'm looking into a few things. That's all, just some personal projects.
Oh, very good. There's not a lot of it here. You know, the elves aren't really too big on magic. I'm surprised to find one such as yourself studying it.
I never really was like the rest of my family, and after meeting my husband, we kind of found that we were both fascinated with the arcane. And I came here because I heard that the rate of pearls was a bit more reasonable than where I'm from, and a very useful spell component.
Oh, that's true. There's a very good bang, 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 crash in the back. And he's like, absolutely, you'll be able to find pearls here. Very good. You'll have to excuse me, miss.
Do you? I hate to impose, but I am rather well trained in combat. Do you want me to take a look?
Oh, that's no worry about that. This is God's house, you know. Galandor here will protect me and my ilk. Oh, I'm not worried about a couple of rats probably in the back.
All right. Actually, if it's rats, I do have my little friend here. She could go take care of them. She's very, very good catching rats, and she'll.
Make a persuasion check.
Please.
Okay, I'll give you a persuasion check, though it's not gonna be easy. I'm happy to have the little one along, but I'm gonna have to go check this out.
Of course. And I'm going to send her to follow, and I'm going to find a place to pray and start looking through her eyes, like as soon as I can. Yeah. I mean, there's like pillows, floor pillows, kind of all around this place, and people just like sitting down, having little conversations and praying and everything else. So you can do that absolutely as he starts making his way through this back door. And you see him he opens the door and steps into this hallway with the shrine, and notices that both doors are ajar, and goes, "It's unusual." And he kind of pokes his head into this storage room first and looks around, hears another crash, bang, boom out of the other room, and begins making his way down the hallway. Sloop, can I get you to make a perception check to see if you can hear him over your own noise? You cannot.
Stupid, messing with orcs. There's no idea what he's doing, keeping statues in his stupid basement.
Just tearing the sheets now in half, like.
Yeah. So as you kind of have one of these sheets up and you tear it in half, and as you tear it down, you just see this dwarf closing the door behind him, entering the room, looking right at you. Well.
Oh no.
This is a peculiar sight to have in me temple.
Did my cat make it into the room with him?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. With familiars, you can use touch spells with them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm just keeping that in mind.
Yeah, you can see Sloop. He is just looking you up and down as you stand on top of his bed in this whirlwind of chaos that you have caused in his bedroom. And what's a little dragon like you doing here?
Extermination.
Oh. Is there a bit of a rat problem, is there?
Oh, I would say that there is. There is certainly some sort of terrible vermin in this temple.
And what makes you think that we've got rats here in this place? I mean, it's the docks. There's kind of rats everywhere, but...
Yes, that is the thing about places like this. They tend to get in from the ground up. It followed them from down there.
Well, perhaps following their way back into the ground is the best way to go.
Perhaps.
And I will get you to make a wisdom save.
Not very good at those.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I do
Okay.
have that D4, which someone has kindly gifted to me. I think I'm going to use it. Oh, I do good, though.
So yeah,
Plus one.
you see him
+1.
basically.
Oh, that's
one
cool.
of his hands goes down and touches this prayer book at his side and like attached to his belt, and you can kind of see like a hand like wraps across the surface a few times, and then he whistles a few words in Elven, and a spell is cast, which you resist.
Did he leave the door open when he left by any chance?
He closed the door behind him into the bedroom.
Not the bedroom, the one, the two double doors where.
Yeah,
those
into
were-
that hallway, those two doors into the hallway. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have any touch spells, so I can't do what I was going to do.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, no.
I forgot to switch my spells out like an idiot, so I'm just gonna deal with this. I'm gonna pull out of my familiar for now. She's probably just gonna go find some carnage little pile of fabric and start pawing it. I'm going to see if I can try and get through those doors and get up to Sloop, because this does not look like it's going good.
Sure, it will take you a moment. I'm not going to get you guys into initiative, but Sloop, I will give you an opportunity to do something here. So too.
I'm going to like take those after he casts the spell, just be like,
Oh, you're a tricky one. Here, just let me put these down.
and then I'm going to throw his sheets on him and dash through them and try to grab his book.
Okay, I'm going to get you to make like a net attack.
A net attack. Okay.
Yeah, which I guess is like your dex plus proficiency if you are proficient in it, which you probably are.
Okay. So dex plus proficiency would be the same as like my dagger, right? So I'll just roll my regular attack.
Yeah.
So it's a 21.
Nice.
A 21, yeah, that for sure hits him. Let me just quickly look up the rules for net, an item that is never used.
Well, do you want, if we want, I can say that I did it with my bag, because my bag has a net in it.
No, it's okay. I like this bedsheet net. It's a cute idea. Yes, hit him and he becomes restrained, and then that will take your action, so you could kind of move up to him while he is on the ground fighting with this sheep.
And I get, as a thief, I can use my cunning action to make a sleight of hand check. Can I steal the book with that?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Cool.
Great use of abilities.
I'm so glad you're grabbing those books.
27.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. You grab his divine focus off of his hip.
And I hold on to that, and I put that in my bag too.
Yeah.
And
I am gonna make you make a wisdom check.
Yeah. Okay. Another wisdom save.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. That's the one.
Oh no.
Please tell me I'm somewhat.
So you do, as you grab it, you feel this like heavy feeling all in your body, and you end up what you're going to take is 7 psychic damage, but it's almost as if you feel all of the liquid in your body gain weight.
Ugh. So I grab it, and I'm in the middle of saying like,
Oh, this place is like a free library. Oh my god! Ow! Oh, my brain! My brain is my whole body! Oh, that smarts! Oh, you are a powerful enemy today, my friend!
oh! And then I just like, I'm gonna try to go over and just open the door, and while like cursing and swearing, try to leave the room.
Yeah, you would have enough movement with all of your things to be able to do that. So Era, you would basically be coming in through this door into the hallway as you see Sloop coming out a door at the other end of the hallway, kind of clutching his head.
We were supposed to be okay. Gonna whistle for the cat. Try to get up there, grab Sloop, and start leaving.
Yeah, I'm just as I'm coming up, I'm like, oh, we should run. I got out of
Yes,
yes.
And you hear just this like cavalcade of swears coming from that room as he continues to struggle with the sheet on his turn.
Let me know when he actually exits the room if he's coming up behind us, because I want to ready a spell.
Yeah, you will have some like you've got a couple of turns here basically to get away if you want to hightail it.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to hightail it. I'd like not to do what I have prepared if I don't have to, but just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, sounds good. And like holding onto my head, still on the way back out, like, oh, beautiful statues, stupid, beautiful pool. Ow.
And Sloop, as you go by the pool, actually, will the two of you both make perception checks?
Sure. Roll for damage is being slow. One moment.
Crit fail.
Or not roll for damage.
Oh,
Yeah, Sloop, you're just like you just feel kind of ill
For once.
as you leave. Era, you notice like as Sloop walks by, the pool in the center starts getting kind of like agitated and almost bubbling close to where he is.
I want to immediately step in front of, like try and push him away from the pool, because I don't like that.
As he gets further away from the pool, you notice that it's the effect becomes lessened, but it is still the water, which was like perfectly calm when you entered, has movement in it.
Well, I think you anchored a god, Sloop. Good job. Let's go.
They angered me first. He started it.
And as you begin to make your way out of the temple, you do hear like a kerfuffle in the back and the sounds of ripping bed sheets.
Okay.
As later, he finally rolls a 10.
Okay, so are we able to exit before he can come into the main temple?
You would be able to get into like the marketplace. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Sloop. What the hell did you find that was causing all of that noise?
He's the one. He's making the orcs. He's fascinated by them. Wow, that's amazing.
How do you know? Did you find a book or plans, schematics?
I'm gonna hand her all 3 books. So there's the journal, the spell book, and the Holy Focus.
Oh yeah, and the Divine Focus. Yeah.
I just threw a pen on the floor. Hold on, let me pick that up.
I guess I actually reach in to grab the Divine Focus, and then I'm like, actually, and just kind of like dump it onto the ground and kind of kick it away from me. I'm like,
Don't touch that one. It's a bad book.
If I look at it, is it easy to tell that it's a Divine Focus? It's a holy book, or?
Yeah, I mean, you are an Alpha Galakine. You would immediately recognize this as kind of like the Bible of Galandor.
All right. Well, I'm just going to kick that into the ground. I don't think we need it. I don't think we need an Elven Bible here. But I am going to put the other 2 books in my bag. Let's get back to the cask quickly.
Great. Yeah, and you pocket the books and start making your way to the tavern. We'll cut back to Teak and Lydia. Django, Teak, and Lydia. You have just exited the jewelry shop.
Where to next, darling?
Well, do you want to scope out a few more of these shops, or do you want to go get closer to the residential area?
I suppose we could ask a few more questions to a shop. If there's a gala tonight, I'm supposing there'll be some traffic in the tailors. Stop quickly in the tailors, confirm perhaps some of the things we've heard. And then before heading back to the cask, maybe get a closer look at the Nere's manor.
I like it. You did say you would buy me something pretty, so keep that in mind.
Certainly, darling.
Yeah, so you continue to make your way up this steep incline of a street until you reach Thurvin's Buckle, the fancy-looking clothier shop there.
Okay.
And you enter the door with a jingle of the chimes, and you see that it is quite busy in this store. There's a lot of people. There are tailors who are like measuring out people and making adjustments to dresses. You know, you got that one guy with like the 4 or 5 pins in his mouth that's just kind of like holding out a sheet and like poof, spitting it in to keep it in point.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Is there anybody that's free, or is everybody any like tailors that are free, or is everybody busy?
Yeah, you'd be able to grab someone kind of working the front desk, would give you a wave and everything as you came in, and say like, "Hello, let us know if you need any help."
Oh yes, please. See, my husband here refuses to wear anything nicer than what he's got on, so I need all the help I can get.
Yes, a whole new outfit by the look of it.
Oh,
Yes.
well.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
Django
So-
is struggling to hold in like the fact that he actually wants a whole new outfit. The husband that doesn't want it. He's like, oh yes, of course. She's always nagging me about my dirty coats and
That's
breeches.
because it's a dirty coat, darling.
And I mean, quite a few holes and patches in that one. It looks like it's seen some better days.
No, well, I've had them for a long time. You see, when things come from special places, you tend to carry them for a while.
Yes, and we'll hang on
Absolutely.
to
You'll
it.
find that the clothing we have here is some of the best that you'll find in all Adrithel, in fact.
I believe
Last you a lifetime.
Ooh, well, is that a guarantee?
Well, no, not a guarantee. I mean,
Oh.
times on the sea, you never know how harsh that mistress can be.
We do know, sir. We do know.
Yes, we do.
Now, while I might require an entire outfit, I believe my darling wife requires the loveliest gown you can provide. Something I think, and this is the only word that comes to mind, poofy. Just puffy and big.
I think
I will
I think
certainly try it on, my darling, but we'll see.
and yeah, you know, Django, he kind of gives you this like knowing look and shoots you a bit of a wink with a side eye that's not facing Lydia. He goes, I think I can get something good in order. Let me just, and he pulls out a notebook and jots a few things down, and kind of you see him eyeing up your rough measurements a little bit. And for the gentleman himself, what kind of thing would you be looking for?
Well, I believe I'd enjoy something
clean.
something like what I have on, but clean and new and ready for a gala.
Oh, you're attending the gala.
Well, of
That
course,
we
my
are.
friend.
Oh, well, this is magnificent indeed. All right. Have you decided on your masks yet? We can always make a bit of a matching outfit if you have one already.
Oh, yes. I believe I would like something feathery. As many feathers as you can fit onto it.
Okay. I think, yeah.
Something of a raven. Keep a raven in mind. Or
Let's
perhaps a
make
bird of
statement.
paradise.
Oh, that is precisely what I was thinking. You know, an elegant black and a big plumage of color spraying out in all directions. Oh,
You're speaking my language, mate.
I love it. And you, madame? Any plans for you?
Well, something a bit less ostentatious. Not quite as flashy.
Yes, something that will accent the large, puffy shoulders. And
Yes. Oh,
the
boys,
belly.
boys. And you see the clap and a number of like small like thin, rakish tailors come out, and he starts having a rapid conversation with them. You see them dart into the back. They start opening up closets and pulling down different things and mixing and matching pieces. And they eventually come out with 2 very distinct outfits. Django, yours is a very elegant black cut, long mariner's trench coat with a fine set of trousers and shirt and everything under it. But all of the trimmings are these bright neon colors. And I'm talking like Vegas Strip. They completely shine out from the rest of it. There is no mask to go with it. You do not notice any masks particularly in this shop. But without a doubt, it is a very elegant yet striking. Lydia, for you, they come out with this very kind of narrow, bright neon, matching neon pink corset with one of those huge bloomered like 18th century box skirts that you could, steal a 50-inch TV in and no one would notice. And you notice it is likewise similarly frilled with feathers throughout it. And they say, now we don't have a mask here particularly, but if you could find a flamingo, it would be a magnificent look on you.
Oh, I do believe, darling, this is just speaking to your soul.
And certainly speaking to someone's soul. But I can assure you it's not mine. It's a little...
Oh, you're not...
It's a little too much.
Oh, of course.
You have something a little more billowy.
More billowy.
Maybe not quite as bright. We can save the colors for my husband.
Yes, something more subtle, but just as big.
No, it doesn't need to be quite that big.
Frilly still. Yes.
Yes, of course.
No.
Of course.
Well,
I have an idea.
No.
Darling, look at these materials. We
Yes,
must have as much as we can.
Darling, they're beautiful, but maybe not for me.
Fair enough, love. Please, tell them exactly what you'd like. I am enamored with my own outfit, and I will be certainly taking it. Buying, not renting.
And you can see the tailor has kind of flipped open his notebook again and has laid out a kind of collection of color swatches on the table and is looking at you for an idea of your gown.
Well, something not quite as pink. Maybe a little darker. A little more red.
More red.
More maroon.
Red. Oh.
Yes, of course.
Something a little tougher, perhaps. A little more flex in it, a little less, boxiness, perhaps.
Much less boxiness.
Yes, she is the muscle of the marriage.
This would be a great talk. It would be, and people would love it. Boys, and he shouts and grabs the tailors again. And you, once again, you see them go into this kind of flurry around the store as they're whipping around other people and making their way. And they eventually bring out this maroon, dark, deep red, burgundy colored dress that's much more subdued. It's not quite the huge box, but it does still have kind of a bell frame on the bottom, and you can see that it's worked in this deep red dyed leather into sections of it. And he says, now again, you'll have to find the mask elsewhere, but the red ant is a particularly vicious creature capable of stinging and dropping men 50 times its size, no, 100 times its size. This here would be tough, elegant, classy, and would give you that kind of sting the moment people see you.
That sounds much more like me. Don't you think, darling?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. She certainly has a sting.
Very good. You're both happy. You're both happy. We can have these rung up right away. If there's anywhere you're staying, we can have them delivered to you. If you'd like, we could perhaps find a pair of matching masks. But, as always, we recommend one finds their own.
Well, do you want to go look for a mask, or do you want one that matches?
Oh, aye. This splendor you've shown us, I would trust no one else in this city with finding our masks over you.
Grand. Well, then we'll take care of all the rest. It's not a worry at all. It will take us a couple of hours to get it all together. You can come back and pick it up later this afternoon, or if you're staying in the city, we can have it delivered.
We will send someone, or we ourselves will come pick it up later.
Yes.
Grand. Well, I look forward to seeing you then. And you can see that he kind of starts filling out a bill of sale that you can pay for later. And the group of the tailors start packing things up, finding the right sizes. Sort of the whole time that you've been talking and having this conversation, every now and then you just look over and one of them would be like, shook, just measuring like your arm or your inseam, poking out from under your legs. They're very, very efficient and quick here, and they seem to have managed to get your measurements in that time.
Oh, darling, shouldn't we get something for our dear boy? We did say we wanted to get him something.
Oh, you see Django's eyes brighten and widen.
I will let you.
Oh, yes. Yes, our young boy, a child of, I'd say, how old is he again, darling? I tend to forget.
Just turned 12. Yes.
Just turned 12.
Oh, a darling age.
Oh, yes. I think he needs his first gala attire. This will be his first event that we've brought him to. Not left him back with the Castellan and bringing him with us, of course.
Of course. And what kind of thing did you have in mind?
I would like it to be exactly like mine. Feathers and all, except I'd like the mask you can find, if possible, to be much more lifelike, as bird can be, like a gull of the sea, my boy.
He does have a very active imagination, so the more real you can make it, the better he'll love it.
Very good, very good. Yes, I believe that we should be able to do something. We may need to fit him for it, but well, most children around that age are about the same size. I'm sure it will fit him as any kind of human or elven child would.
If they trust you completely.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you later. In the meantime, we've a busy day ahead of us here.
Thank you very much for your help.
Right. And yeah, you are able to leave the shop. And as you head back out onto the street, we are going to take a quick 15-minute break to get ourselves some water and whatnot. And everyone in the chat, we will see you in 15 minutes or less. So stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the midway point in episode 3 of the Ruffians. Thank you for sticking with us. For everybody who stuck with us throughout the break, anyone who's coming back in, welcome back. So when we just last left off, Django and Lydia had gotten themselves ordered some nice outfits from the tailor, and Sloop and Era had robbed a temple and made off like bandits.
I would like to correct this. Sloop robbed at the temple.
Innocent bystander. Era's done nothing wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, and the two of you made your way back to the Beggar and Cask. Was there anything you wanted to do there, or were you just waiting for Django and Lydia to make their way back as well?
I would like to examine that arcane book, the one that has the stuff about the orcs in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you make a Arcana check for me?
Oh, yes, I certainly can.
You're like, this is not a persuasion check, please.
Oh, but now that's going to jinx me.
14.
Could have been worse. Yeah.
So, I mean, immediately, this ritual book is not in a language you understand. I do know you have comprehend languages if you wanted to cast it.
Yes, I certainly do.
Yeah. So as you've done many times before, the words kind of swirl on the page until they become a script that's familiar to you. And you're able to make your way through a lot of it, but it is very unfamiliar. You've never seen this ritual done, certainly never in person. You've probably only ever heard tell of it being done, as the orc tribes come from a very, very far away from where the elves are on the continents. Literally a different continent and on the far side of that.
Mm-hmm. I imagine this is probably something I more heard in passing while studying rather than something I heard in detailed lessons on.
I mean, you are a necromancer, so you would have some affinity and interest in bringing to life things that are not alive. So I would say that you have certainly at least some passing familiarity with it. You feel like you'd probably be able, with a 14, you feel like you'd probably be able to do the ritual, but it would be a challenge.
So in this, does it state that the caster of the ritual has control of the orcs, or are they just ravaging whatever the hell they touch?
It doesn't specify.
Okay. And do I know anything about, if orcs were just created to just go kill kobolds and collect more blood, or?
No, and in fact, you've met. You've all probably at some point in your life met other orcs before. Orcs who are sailors, orcs who live in the towns. It's not common for them to kind of join societies, but there are some of those who believe like they don't want to live their whole life around hunting other people for their blood. They think that there's more peaceful ways to go about creating more orcs, more children. And they just, there's pacifist orcs and stuff as well. Like there isn't any other society. They are not just like a bloodthirsty
not just like a
hunter.
Construct.
No, they're not. And they're not like a bloodthirsty hunter killer society. But it is the fact that like their race is built. Their race cannot reproduce without the use of dragon's blood, and you can't really get dragon's blood without killing dragons. Those who are like touched by dragons, such as draconic sorcerers, or other male keen, such as kobolds or dragonborn.
All right. Well, what I'd like to do, if I can, is just write down the bits that are a bit more fascinating to my goals and what I am trying to attain, what with maybe specific glyphs that maybe catch my eye, maybe might be important. Just write them all down in my little notebook.
Yeah. You can make different copies of kind of the various things. Again, it's somewhat strange to you because while it is a arcane ritual, it's almost like natural in a sense, almost more like a druidic arcana, because it's like there's no enchantment spells or anything wrapped around it. It's not about like controlling an army of orcs. It is literally just about like a form of creation.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I guess the runes I'm specifically going... oh, I'm so sorry. Here's the runes I'm specifically going to focus at least on gathering are the ones that have to do with what I would assume, since I'm fairly versed in the arcane, would be the ones associated with breeding life into something. Not necessarily control, but...
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, absolutely. You find this book to be very interesting to your studies.
Oh yes, I do. Sorry, Sloop.
You just don't go messing around with nothing you don't understand. Don't go cutting me open for pieces.
Well, I think I already have a vial of dragon's blood in there, and trust me, this is something that, while I may not understand the creation of orcs, this, and she's just like she puts her hand over the page that she's writing, is something that I have spent a lifetime to understand.
Okay, well, I trust you. So.
And while we're in here, if I can, I want to go ahead and start decanting some of the dragon's blood into the little vials that I bought.
I assume you are up in the bedroom cask?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I would not be taking this random book out in the middle of a bar.
I'll just put those perception rolls back down. Absolutely. You can spend a bit of time taking some of that blood out, and actually, I'll get you to make an Arcana check to see how well you are able to do that. An Arcana check or like an alchemist's tools kit check.
I'll take that 17 I just rolled.
Yeah, you're able to do it. You probably spill like a drop or two, but you're able to get your 3 little vials. It puts a bit of a dent in the bottle, but not too much.
All right.
Maybe about a quarter or a fifth.
I'll stow the blood back away, and as I'm stowing it, I do want to make sure that I'm being very careful to hide it. I assume I probably have a few more books on me to stack them on top, make sure that it's hidden if somebody were to open the chest, because that would be pretty bad if somebody found that in this room.
It would not look good on you, no.
So I'll stash the other 3 vials on my person with the rest of my components.
Great.
You did say that these can be used to replace components.
Yeah, if you have a spell component, each one of those vials can replace a spell component of 100 gold.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. You could also use them just in replace of a spell component for a spell. If a spell has a material component that's not goldless, you could use the dragon's blood to upcast that spell.
Sweet. All right, thank you.
Sloop, while she's deciphering this and divvying out the blood, is there anything you wanted to do?
I think I'm just watching uncomfortably as this the blood of my people is spread between little vials.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird for you. You feel a little like you should be hung upside down by your feet, just being slowly drained or something.
Yeah, so I guess he kind of and goes over to the window to get some air, and just kind of looks out over the city.
Yeah. So Django and Lydia, you've left the clothing shop and are back out onto the bustling market row.
Shall we go by the house now?
I am just enamored with the lovely garb we have just acquired. We will certainly dominate this gala.
That is not the point of this. Remember, we have information that we're supposed to be asking that we did not ask in there.
You're right, mate. Got the better of me. Shall we?
Don't get me wrong, you will look dashing, but that is not the point of this mission.
Well, perhaps we should get a little closer to the Nere's manor and see what we can find.
It's a sensible idea. I will offer my arm.
Now, you see Django sort of slips his arms into his jacket. He wipes it off a little bit. You see he throws one side over his rapier, so it's sticking out as the nicest thing he owns. And put his scarf around his neck to kind of somewhat hide the less than savory look of his clothes, and take her arm and start to head up towards the residential manor as close as we can get, to get a better look at it.
Yeah. So as you make your way up Market Row with the various houses that pass, you are able to kind of look out over your right shoulder and see a pretty good span of the whole dock district down below. You're now a couple stories just up above where most of the houses are. And it's hard to see out too far because of the fog today, but you do get a bit of an idea of the liveliness of the city. As you approach to the very top of the hill, the street kind of peaks out and then turns left, but directly at the end of the street facing out into Market Row is a big set of iron gates, slightly ajar with 2 guards standing at it. A stone wall works its way down the row and then turns the corner, kind of away from Market Row towards the residential district.
Okay. I think Django would try to look as though we are just trying to enjoy the view as best we can, as I just really want to get a good look at, as best a look as possible at the manor from this distance, or any activity within the gates.
Yeah.
Understandably, the walls preclude a lot of vision.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
Excellent.
And Lydia, anything you'd like to look for or do in this time?
Can I look and see if there's any maybe like weak points in the stone wall or anything? Oh, Jago. Or any sort of like secret entrances.
Sure. Make a. I'll get you to make an investigation check.
Got it.
As you're being more precise looking for something here.
A lovely 9.
Oh. All right.
So Django, with that 9, you kind of there's a little section. If you're looking at the gate, just to your right, there is a little overlook that you can stand on and look out over the city. It's a spot that a lot of tourists would stop to get their lay of the land. And you're kind of leaning back, singing a little tune to yourself and trying to peek in through the gates. You can't see a lot that's going on in there. You do see kind of through the gate. It isn't just like iron bars. There is a path that leads directly up to the front doors of the house, to large kind of wooden doors with gilded frames. And then you do see that there is a section to the left within this little courtyard that looks to be some sort of stable housing horses and carts and the like. But that's about all you're able to see from particularly where you're standing. Lydia, with a 12 investigation, you work your way along the outer ring of this wall, and it seems to be exceptionally well made. Obviously, it's very clear immediately that this family has quite a fair bit of money, and this place has been kind of tidied up and spotless. Even the areas around the outside of the walls have clearly been recently swept in preparation for this. You follow the wall all the way around to a side street that runs kind of the length of the cliff, and you continue following the outer garden wall, which turns into a solid stone wall of the house, which then, when the house ends, the cliff begins. And you see that there's no way around the house at all. In particular, because you're looking for kind of secret entrances and stuff, you do notice that there are no windows on the street side of this building. But there are windows overlooking the cliff. And Django, from where you are in that little overlook, you would be able to see that there is a balcony. There's a balcony on the first floor that looks out over the town. And Lydia, around the back of the house, way in the back kind of corner, as deep into off the cliff as possible, there's a small balcony on the second floor as well.
All right.
Just marvelous architecture. Beautiful.
Very well made, unfortunately.
I just very loudly say, I do so cannot wait until the gala tonight.
Tomorrow
be splendid.
Night, darling.
Tomorrow night.
We blend together.
It has been a long journey here. As Django will strut towards one of the guards.
Yeah, it is. I should note, it is probably around 5 p.m. or so now.
Okay.
Because you guys did wake up at noon, and you've kind of spent the afternoon doing a little jigging around town. Yeah. The guards you see, they're kind of regular looking human guards. They're slightly better off than the city guards that you've seen around. But they're certainly not to the standard of the warehouse guards that you encountered last night.
Okay. So Django will strut up to them and just say proudly, "Good evening, mates. Good evening. I just, as a newcomer to the city and a guest for tomorrow's night gala. I thought I'd come and regale you, my friends, with just a issue of thanks for the service you do, and to just ask you, implore you about what sort of night we're in for. I'm certainly, as a guard of the manor of the Nero family, you've seen quite a few galas.
Make a persuasion check.
Yes, I will. Oh dear.
17.
Okay. 17.
He looks at you and kind of looks you up and down with your outfit and goes, "Move along, sir."
Well, certainly. I apologize. I am in my seafaring garb. I apologize greatly. Continue with your fine work, and I shall see you better dressed tomorrow evening. Good night.
Have a great night, sir.
As Django will turn towards Lydia, and she would see his face just like, shall we carry on, darling?
Oh, yes, let's. Lydia's rather enjoying the fact that he didn't get to regale.
Yeah, just a very quick turn heel as soon as he walks up.
I took you on disadvantage for that check because of your outfit, so.
Certainly understandable and deserved.
Yeah, and you kind of see the guards are there, and they're pretty stationary, watching the world go by. And occasionally you might see somebody come up with a package that's allowed in through. But other than that, it's seems fairly quiet this evening.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Joey.
we shall do. Are we? I don't remember. I wasn't really paying attention. Are the masks being made with our outfits, or do we need to get
Yes.
our own to?
Oh yes. We're all taken care of in regards to our outfits for tomorrow evening.
Wonderful.
I suppose we should meet up with the others, share what we've learned.
Yes. Maybe we should keep an ear out on the way back. We don't really have that much to share.
Oh, I think we have more than you'd think, darling. But yes, I agree.
Yeah, so you make your way back down to the back down the hill through Market Row to the trade district, the market square, and then Sloop, you can see the two of them approaching the beggar and cask from the upstairs window.
Oh, I start, just waving out the window. And just turn around to Ira and, they're back.
Oh, they are? Good. You want to make them downstairs? Tell them to get their butts up here.
Yes. And I'll, run and skip down the stairs.
As
Era's
we were
still
walking... Oh, sorry, Era, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying Era's still surrounded by her organized chaos of books and paper.
As we were walking back, I do want to just be listening, eavesdropping on conversations. If anybody seems nervous or if anybody seems like they're having a hushed conversation or anything like that.
Maybe
In the tavern or just on the streets?
On the streets as we're walking back.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a loop once around and then back. Just keeping our ears open.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Yay. Oh.
And I guess what kind of rumors are you looking for? Things specifically about like the party, about events going on in the city, about Pipper, or
About Pipper. That's what I'm listening for.
You do not encounter any. You do not overhear anything about him. Your reaction from the jeweler seemed to believe that it's not common knowledge that he is missing.
Okay.
And so the two of you make your way into the tavern. Sloop comes downstairs and meets you with a big hullabaloo. You can see that the tavern has started picking up kind of for the evening dinner shift. People are starting to come in off of the boats and drink. The bird hasn't quite set up yet. You do see that Captain Sybil is still there, but is packed up more of her stuff in like neater piles and is just kind of enjoying a drink and some food at this point.
I think Django would note that she's there. Does she seem packed up? Does she seem like she's just relaxing there and enjoying a drink, or is she going to leave soon? Would I be able to kind of tell that?
It looks like she's kind of relaxing and having a drink. She said that she would kind of be there today, but that would be returning to her ship this evening.
Right. Great. Then I think we would just head straight up to meet the rest.
Yeah. You're all able to meet upstairs without issue. You do see Creek is back hanging around upstairs, just chatting to some other people around the upper balconies, but he doesn't kind of pay you any immediate mind.
Okay.
How was your afternoon?
I hope yours was better than ours.
Oh, what happened? Didn't find any more gunpowder, did you?
No,
Oh,
but
I
Sloop found this, and I'm going to hold up the book. This is a book that specifies how to create orcs. And he may have also torn apart the priest's room in the process.
Oh, no
That's
way about it. I did a number on that room. I took the
Um,
whole thing apart.
I'm sure you did.
We managed
It's
to get away.
necessary.
No, I guess
We
not.
managed to get away, and as far as I know, the priest thinks I'm just a person who came in. He didn't really see me helping him, and we made it out and away fine. But according to both the journal and this book, that priest seems to be either the one responsible for these orcs or he's facilitating it in some way. He's writing about a very strange fascination.
Interesting. I wonder if I wonder if this is what Captain Sybil was talking about.
Captain
You
Sybil.
can glean from the journal that he absolutely is the one who created the statues. That he is you would know that most Barakeen, most dwarves, gnomes, and halflings are fascinated with the concept of creation, of creating things. They're kind of the master smiths and artisans of the world. And it seems that this guy is just really honed in on that whole concept of like, what better thing to create than to create life itself.
All right. So, Captain Sybil, who's that?
Yes, that the woman downstairs, the captain we spoke to before or after you left. She is, if I'm not mistaken, Lydia, she is bearing the sigil of the Eye of Inden to the north. She is
That's right.
a magic user come to investigate strange occurrences in Adrithel.
Is that so?
Yes. I am uncertain if she is what her role is in our mission here. If she's someone we should lean on, perhaps. I did say to her, without giving away anything that you've told me of these orc statues in sewers, I did tell her that we would provide her with any information she might need, and that we would do a little bit of investigating for her. Keep her in our good graces for now, to see how she might prove useful.
All right.
If she's looking for
So-
somebody messing around with magic, we could maybe point her towards that priest.
Yes.
I left him
think that's a
alive,
good
so
idea.
that, I didn't kill him or anything.
Well, that's good. Sloop, maybe be a little more subtle next time, yes?
I will admit I got carried away. I got upset.
Understandably so.
No, you must lean into the emotions, mate.
No,
you did the right
no.
thing.
No, don't listen to him.
It just
Well,
looks
I
like
Set off fireworks last night.
I think Django is being an idiot as usual, and Lydia is right.
Well, a fool sometimes tells the truth.
Well, either way, like I said, this book seems to be entailing everything that goes into creating these orcs. But in the journal, did he specify who put him up to this at all?
From the journal, you seem to like. This seems to be entirely of his own personal fascination.
Oh, okay.
It is something that he writes about in great secrecy. As you've had a bit more time now to study with the journal, you can see that he goes from kind of not mentioning it to mentioning it in almost code to eventually it just starts like consuming so much of his thought that he speaks more freely about it.
Well, what I was able to glean from everything here is that it seems like those orcs were entirely of this priest's imagination and not connected to the families. But that makes me think that we could use them to our advantage, just so disclose.
The orcs.
Yes.
Yes. I'm interested in that as well. That book seems like exactly what this Captain Sybil is looking for. But I think if we did turn this over, perhaps, employing these orcs in some way and finding a way to blame it upon a house could prove useful. Something we heard today from a jeweler is that now, I might be stretching this a bit, but what I would understand is the Ratcliffes, the third house, they said that they prefer the finer graces. And perhaps by finer graces, this mouthy jeweler meant religion.
Well, I probably should let you know that I'm pretty sure that Sloop and that I may have angered a god. Mostly because when we were trying to exit, most of these houses of Galendor have pools in the center. Lydia, I'm sure you've seen one in your time. The water was still when we went in, but when we were leaving, as soon as Sloop was next to it, it started to ripple and bubble, as if something was moving under the surface. And I think from this point we need to tread with caution in houses of gods. And I'm looking at Sloop as I'm saying this.
Would I know anything about that water?
You would know that they are, well, make a knowledge religion check for me.
Sure. Religion. Ooh, I'm not good at these.
Okay, and I was going to say you can take it with advantage because it is about directly your god.
I have a D6 that I can add to that. From last game.
Yes, you do.
So, oh boy. Let's see if I remember how to do this.
13 plus /r space.
Thank you.
1d6.
Thank you. Oops, that's an S. There we go. So
17. So you would know that these kind of reflecting pools are used. They can be used as like a source of scrying to show visions and whatnot. But you would have definitely seen some in Neversea, the Gallican capital, that are quite magnificent. They normally only ever come up to, say, your knees. They're not very deep. So for something to be in them, especially when they're as crystal clear as they are, you don't know how anything could kind of hide in there, sort of thing. You do know that Galendor is god of the seas, he's god of water, and his presence would be able to control that sort of thing. But you also know in the world right now, the gods have kind of been weakened ever since the capital fell, Loracy. All of the high priests were killed in that catastrophe. And you've recently come from kind of sacking a holy city. So the power that the gods have had has seemed a little sparse recently.
Well, that definitely does sound like Elendor, but from what I remember, the gods are not very present at the moment.
Well, I'd imagine one would make themselves present if there was a disturbance like that in their house. Sloop stole a cleric's holy focus, so...
Yes, I'd imagine that would anger him.
Well, I suppose we're not on the good side of any of the deities, love, since we just came from.
I haven't been on the good side of a god in many, many years. It really doesn't matter to me, but it should be worth treading with caution.
Well,
Gods are dying and we are better for it.
before you said caution, that was the smartest thing I've heard you say since we got here. And Sloop, that is definitely the smartest thing I've heard you ever say.
Thank you.
Well, if we're going to turn this book over, let me copy down a few more things.
I agree. I do not think we should be hasty.
This book seems... This book, what it contains, seems to lend itself to my own personal research. But if we are thinking of using those orcs to our advantage, I'd at least like to copy down the steps of the ritual,
Yes.
just in case.
Does he say
Please.
why he's fascinated by it, or just that he's fascinated? Is there a reason?
I think it's because he's a dwarf. Dwarves, halflings, they're always been, as far as I know, they're known for being craftsmen. So perhaps just the creation of life is fascinating. He is a holy man after all. I'd imagine that he'd value life and think it's very sacred. So the idea of creating it, I can imagine would be very attractive. I mean, Lydia, you've seen what I can do. You know that kind of fascination draws you in.
Do?
I would, if possible, like to set a couple of rules vis-a-vis orc creation. Rule number 1, no new male keen deaths involved in the creation of said orcs. And number 2, we need to have a way to destroy them if they come after me. Because there is a very good chance that they're going to see me and get hungry for dragon blood and come right after me.
What I was thinking
They won't get near
is-
you, Sloop, don't worry.
And
Thank you.
what I was thinking putting all this together, you said you saw multiple of them, but who's to say we can't just animate one or two and let them loose? Make sure they're far away from you, because it'd be quite sad to see you after all the good you've done and all the help you've been. Be attacked like that, especially if we're trying to make it ourselves. I can't guarantee this is going to work. This is somewhat outside of my sphere of knowledge. This is much more akin to druidism rather than necromancy, but I can try.
I think we may need to investigate this chamber of orc statues more, perhaps tonight. After we
Sloop, just while you were in, did you see any ways down?
I couldn't find a way from the upside of the temple, but I do know that if we went back into the sewers, the other side of the room is basically unguarded. The door that must connect it to the temple, wherever it is pretty tough. I mean, I'm pretty good at getting through doors. That door it bested me.
Well, if you give me a little bit of time, I can make sure I have something prepared that will probably make short work of that lock. If it's a lock, that's the problem.
Is the idea to just go and see what this temple room is like with all these orcs, or are we actually going to bring the dragon blood with us?
I have a few vials of it on me right now. I've already decanted them, mostly because dragon's blood, aside from being used in this ritual, can be used to replace components, which can be extremely useful on my end of things. I'm being careful. It's concealed, and the blood is safely hidden. Right now, I don't plan to bring the large dram of it anywhere. I'd like it to stay hidden. I do have some on me, though.
I suppose my question was, are we animating the orcs tonight, or are we waiting until tomorrow?
I think we should wait. I think we should wait to see
Yes.
if we actually want to, because
Yes.
the biggest problem I see is, the biggest problem I see is how we would transport the orcs if we did them tonight, because we wouldn't want them running rampant now, or the gala would probably be cancelled.
Yes, I've never animated an orc before. I don't know. Do they awake and they say, "Hello, how are you? My name is David," and then they come along with you, or you need to teach them a few things? I don't know, and I don't care to find out tonight. I would think we need to just investigate.
Like I said,
Sense to me.
yes, I can spend some time to fix my what I have prepared, copy down the ritual, and then you can turn this book over to your little friend downstairs.
Yeah.
I like
so
that idea quite a bit.
it would take you about maybe, considering you've been working on it for a while, let's say another hour, for you to make any additional additions to
Mhm.
your books, which you feel pretty confidently would allow you to recreate the ritual.
All right, and for my spells, since I wasn't able to do this, I completely forgot to do it last time. Will you allow me to switch one of my spells out so I can get the knock spell prepared?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and while she's preparing that, I'll just briefly let them know, like, the few other things we found out, that the Ratcliffs are building that giant galleon we saw being constructed in the port, and that they've come into money suddenly, enough money to do such a task that seemed unexpected, that wealth to the jeweler we met. And it just seems like the Ratcliffs seem to be a bit more suspicious than the other two, even though the Aarons have got some other stuff. Oh yeah, and we'll also tell them the Pippa Aaron, the news is not broke that he has disappeared to this noble killer.
Well then, wouldn't that be an absolutely embarrassing thing to somehow find its way to the local press? Wouldn't that cause
they
Yes, it
know.
would.
before they can? You know, if we
Perhaps.
just, I don't know, slipped it under a door.
Do we
Still have
want
the
to?
charge.
Do we want to wait, or should we do it? Should we do it before the gala, or shall we do it? Should we do it the night of the gala, so the next morning it breaks?
That is true, because the armies aren't arriving until Sunday.
Yes.
Well, if we're setting orcs loose around the gala, that might make the front page instead of...
I imagine that if that news were to break the morning of, people would be going into the gala with a lot of questions, and I don't imagine there'd be
Oh,
enough
I
time for them
see.
to suddenly
I see.
cancel it.
First thing tomorrow morning, not the morning after the gala. I was
As
thinking-
close to the gala as possible.
Yes.
So, looking at the time of day, if that draft were to somehow find its way under the door of some local reporter or press, while we do our investigating, I can imagine that it would be one of the first things people hear about in the morning.
Yes, I agree. Bring some tension to the gala. You can't have fun unless there's tension to cut.
Well, then the best part about it is that draft was written in the warehouse that blew up, which could be a very good cover for how it got to the press.
So should
Rebel.
we slip an anonymous note with it?
I think we should.
Letting them know where it came from?
I can write one up right now.
I like it.
So,
Subtle.
All right.
Not the same time.
So you are drafting a anonymous, so I understand this plan. You are drafting an anonymous letter containing the drafted press release that you would like to disseminate tonight so that it hits the front pages tomorrow, so to speak.
The basics, what I want to write is that the Aaron family is hiding something very important and it needs to be seen before this gala.
Mate, I hate to intrude upon your artistry, your calligraphy, but I'm particularly good at these, and I'd love a chance at it.
I'm just going to look at him, look down at the paper, and then give him the quill.
I will put my hand up against her quill and pull the quill out from my lapel that has been there the whole time. And can I see that journal from the priest?
Oh, I think for once I like where you're going.
Yes.
And I hand it over.
That brain of yours, Django.
Well, when it comes to theatrics and drama, I flourish.
And
Catch
Django
the
will
vision.
take out the quill, and I would like to forge the note, the tip, with the same handwriting as the priest.
Yeah. Would you please make a what did I say this was? A deception check?
Deception check, yeah.
Deception check,
Advantage.
Oh, I think this is the smartest thing you've done since I've met you.
I couldn't agree more. I, too, think this is the smartest thing I've ever done.
Oh, I wish I could see the look of that priest's face when he figures out that his writing is what's gonna bury him.
Yes.
Wait, what
It
was it?
Very nice.
Is
Yeah.
Very
Nice.
nice.
Oh, everything's falling into place. That's
You've
very
got all these, you've got literal pages of writing samples from him that you're able to draw from. And the feather just, you can see it bristling with excitement at the idea. It loves every moment of it. And it seems to guide your hand across the pages. You have the same kind of curves on your S's, the same dots on all your T's, even like the trailing. It's as if the quill knows when to drop ink, so it knows how much the father often picks up, overloading his own quill with as he writes. It is, all of you are just stunned by this completely flawless forgery.
Yeah. And every now and then you see as he's writing it, he'll bring the quill up, and as it's wriggling with excitement, he'll just sort of like, keep doing your work. And just, he's being weird.
Dare say, Mr. Teague, I may have to employ these skills of yours again in the future, because it would be very, very helpful.
Oh, well, I think there are several opportunities. As long as all goes well, mate, and we don't end up in a prison cell or at the bottom of the sea. After this, I think there'll be plenty of time for accords in the future, savvy?
I think so, too. Quite frankly, I don't think a prison cell would hold you very long.
Well, 5 desert islands didn't, and I am still alive. 8 fingers and all.
That last
So?
one into that.
Well, all right. So, give me a little time. I can get this prepared. Of course, Sloop, I will invite you. Are more than welcome to try your luck at that door again, but should you fail, I should be able to get it open.
Very good. I'm not super stoked to go back into the sewers. It's a bit twisty, but I think I can get us back there.
All right. Do you remember where you came out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Roll knowledge history, I guess. No, I think you would know where you were ish in the market. You came out in like a pretty familiar spot that you've now walked a few times since being in the city. So
since you came out in such a what I would imagine is a fairly busy spot, should we wait until it's a bit later in the night, maybe after midnight? When the streets would, I presume those streets would be more clear. We'd be able to do this without much.
I think that's the best. That's the best time to do it. Yes.
Well, we better rest up till then. Seems we're going to be up a little late. Django,
So
you can.
I was just
go
going to
ahead.
say it takes about an hour to between forging this document, copying down the ritual, preparing your new spells and whatnot. About an hour or so passes. It's around kind of 7:30ish at night. So you can hear that like downstairs has picked up a little bit more, and the kind of dinners are being mostly cleared out. But you can wait around in this room until later in the night, or do what you want.
Django, would you mind if I was the one who took this book down to your friend, Miss Sybil?
Would you mind if I accompanied you, but let you do the speaking? She seems to be taken with me a little.
Of course. I'm just a bit curious. I am going to leave my drans up here, just in case. And,
I do think you would like her a lot.
maybe, or maybe not. My work tends to be a little polarizing. And,
All right. After you.
Of course. And I'll stash the book that I have written down the ritual in. And I'll leave the priest's journal up there too. Just take the arcane book. I am gonna kind of wrap it, keep it behind my cloak. I don't want to really advertise what I'm carrying because it is a little taboo.
So the two of you are going down and talk to.
Sorry,
Lydia.
No, it's fine. Just as they're walking out the door. Mr. Teague, a drink if you would, on your way back up.
Certainly, Captain.
Oh, and something chicken-like as well.
No, I'll bring a feast up for us all. Roast chickens and ales. No grogs. I would like some more kelp grog.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They make them quite well here.
Well as they can be. Django, when they go down, Django would like to stop at the bar and grab 3 of the kelp drinks to bring over to the table with them.
Yeah, you slide a couple coins across. Sino pours you up a few drinks, and no problem. It's got that same kind of sickly, slimy substance in these shot glasses that are at least clean, is the nice thing.
Yeah.
Not anymore now that this drink is in them.
Okay.
You see Sybil sitting there, Captain Sybil sitting there. She has packed up the books that she had kind of cleaned up. You can see that she's put into bags, and she's just kind of enjoying the end of her drink, watching the bard start up his first set.
Excuse me. Are you Miss? I assume you are Miss Sybil.
Captain Sybil.
Captain, my apologies. So my companion here told me that you were investigating some strange arcane happenings here.
Indeed I am. You've something to report?
I certainly do, and she lowers her voice a little bit just to make sure we're not being heard. But I wanted to ask first, what kind of magic are you investigating? If you mind.
Make a persuasion check.
Django would like to slide around into the seat as she's doing this, drop the drinks down, and say,
It's all part of the plan, mate.
I will let you make this with advantage because Django has established a very friendly relationship so far.
Thank you, Mr. Teague. 17.
17. She leans back for a moment, reaches forward, takes her shot, and says, well, the arcane disturbance in this city is of a bit of an unknown origin to us. It's unlike most things that we've studied. It seems to be outside of the grasp of the school's regular knowledge. Tell me, you're a magic user yourself?
Yes, I am. Studied for a very long time. Myself and my husband.
It's unusual to see your kind so open about it.
Oh, I know. But I was never one who fit in with my own.
And pray tell, is it from your own that you got this? And she reaches out and grabs just the hem of your cloak. And Django, you see as she pulls back from it, the cloak itself does not move, but this ethereal-looking, ragged shroud around it materializes in her hands. And then she puts it down as it kind of shimmers back into her.
Django will say, I've never seen that in all my days. And then he'll drink his kelp drink.
I have to say I'm quite impressed you were able to see it, but no, this was actually a wedding present when I got married. My husband is a...
Yeah, given as a wedding present. You must have some very interesting friends, Miss...
My husband was a very interesting man. You can call me Miss Blackwood.
Blackwood. And your husband, pray tell, where is he?
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. That's why I still wear this. That's why I still wear this cloak to this day. He gave it to me to help protect me in my travels. I spent many, many, many moons away. And he was always a paranoid man. He wanted me to be able to get away if I got in trouble. I sailed around a lot, pirates.
The cold embrace of death is still an embrace.
And
she smiles this grin at you.
But,
that Django, you can now see. This is kind of the only second time that she smiled. You see the teeth on her much more noticeable this time around.
Oh yeah, Django's gonna absolutely do a.
So,
as he sees it.
Anyway, I came to give you this, and I very, very carefully look out. This contains information that I consider fairly something that you might find interesting. It was should. I just look over at Django, and it's like a silent asking of, should we tell her where we got it, or...
Django will match her eyes and just sort of...
This, I'm sure that you may have seen the temple to Galandor. Not far from here.
Yes, I believe I saw it in the distance. It's near the market square.
This was, I believe, in the possession of the priest.
I can't say I've met the man, but
Inside,
I recognize the cover, let's say, and you note that it's like this hide-bound book that's just singed all over with like studded points of obsidian and like clear burns of fire and the like around it.
As you can tell, I'm someone who has studied the arcane for a long time, and I wanted to know what was in here. This seems to be containing the ritual to create orcs, which I can imagine is not something that is probably the source of your disturbance.
No, but it is disturbing nonetheless. I must thank you for bringing this to my attention. At the Temple of Galandor, you say?
I was just as surprised. I was never one to be religious, but I certainly was not one to trifle with the gods just in case. And I cannot imagine that beings born from slaughter, being created by someone, or at least idolized by someone who, a holy man no less.
He seems a man both possessed by the divine, but also of the mind and interest in creation and politics.
But politics, you say?
Yes, the acquisition of power, perhaps. And what better way to acquire power than creation?
And pray tell, how did you manage to get your hands on this?
Well, I told you, mate. We're not just some merchants coming through town.
No, that much is clear.
Our
And you can
methods.
see Django make a perception check.
Yes, sir.
Our methods, ma'am, I don't think really matter. I think that this is something that can be quite damaging.
Django, you notice on her saying that her eyes lock on the quill in your coat.
Mhm.
Yes, well, I mean, you are correct. The methods are unimportant as long as the source is valuable. This is a highly contraband ritual in these parts, as you can imagine. There's not many people that like the idea of orcs being in their city, but, he is a man of the cloth. Perhaps it is simply a part of his library.
I would certainly hope so. Actually, if you don't mind me asking, where did you study? Just curious.
Studied at the Mages School in Indon.
All right. It's been many, many years since I've been in school, so.
Of course. It's a different place from what it once was.
Love to go see it again. Just once, maybe for the nostalgia. It's where I met my husband, after all. Special place to me.
Perhaps you'll see him again. You'd fit right in.
I would like to. What do you mean by that?
Oh, there's just many of your type there. Outcasts of society, shunned by their own people, curious about the magics. Though not all so many with such powerful family friends.
Certainly, mate. She walks around with the stoic look of a scholar and the droll expressions that I only surmise come from burying one's nose so deep into the texts.
I feel like you could probably benefit from picking up a book now and then, Mr. Teague, as I start standing up. Take the kelp drink, knock it back.
It tastes awful. You have not had this shot yet. It is
I
terrible.
thought I took a shot of this last time.
Wasn't the kelp? It wasn't the kelp.
Wasn't the
It
kelp.
wasn't grog.
No, this is grog is just like an ale. This is
never mind.
like a fermented kelp shot.
This is what Django found in the morning. Django will.
Django, what is wrong with you?
Oh, you'll get used to it, darling. As Django is slowly sliding out of the away from the table, he'll look to Sybil one last time and just to say, "Now, these contrabands that we've gifted to you, we do not know for certain any connections throughout the city, but all I know is two things before I leave you for the evening. One, the Ratcliffes are particularly fond of the graces of piety. And from what I've heard of rumors throughout the city, the Arryns are particularly fond of smuggling. Take that as you will, and I assure you, though our appearances may seem rough, we may just be simple ruffians moving through a port, but our interests lie in the safety of the people of this city. Enjoy your
Glad to hear that our interests align. Thank you, Mr. Teague, and Miss Blackwood. Thank you for your gift. I will look into what you've said. I hope to see you around soon.
Have a lovely evening, Captain Sybil.
And with that, she, like, as you guys are going, she takes that book, puts it into her bag, downs her drink, and like gets up and leaves with fervor.
Well, we should head back upstairs.
I suppose
Got a
that
long
went
night.
as well as it could.
I want to keep an eye on that one. I fear that she's going to get too close to something that she has no business getting into.
We do not want her getting ahead of us.
Well, that too.
Zabby, shall we prepare for tonight?
Yes, yes. We'll let the others know how it went. And we go upstairs. I'm assuming you want to pick up food for everybody.
Yes, Django will start to walk upstairs with her and then do a quick... Oh, forgot the food and drinks.
Do not forget
Yeah.
that, because I don't think Lydia will appreciate it.
No, the captain's sting is the worst. It's worse than the bees, and I'm allergic. So, it's canon. Django's allergic to
so-
bees.
Django and Era, you make your way back upstairs, grabbing your food to meeting up with Sloop and Lydia, where you are able to fill them in on the events of the evening and prepare yourself for a midnight crawl through the sewers of the day before, or, well, I suppose really during the very early mornings of the day of the Masquerade, as you prep for another day in the city of Adrithel. But on that note, we will be leaving it for tonight and this week as we set off to the party tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, in a week's
Can it
time.
be tomorrow?
Can it be tomorrow?
I'm free. I'm free tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm free.
Right?
I'm very, very much excited to see what you guys get up to the Masquerade. There's definitely some
So
fun
Oh,
things.
this is
in
just
the
too
works.
much. This is too good.
But with that, I'm going to do a quick round around the table to let you guys reintroduce yourselves to anyone who might have tuned in. Tell us where we can find a little bit more from you, and then I'll say a few words myself before we call it for the evening. So let's go back reverse forward order, starting with Django, played by Sean. Take it away.
Yes, I am Sean. You can find me on all social media at Odo_Sean, ODO_SEAN. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and probably wherever. But I am the DM for Paradise RPG. We play every Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are about 30 or so episodes into a campaign. Even though we said that's a good point. It's a good point to start in because we're entering into a new arc. And we have several other shows throughout the week. Wednesdays, we do cartography, games, and lore discussions with myself at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sunday is the Tim and Shannon Power Hour, where Shannon and Tim will talk about our most recent episodes, as well as interview folks from the community. It's a really fun time to get to know more people from the community, but also our lovely Shannon. But please join us, and just thank you so much. Such a great session. So much fun to be here. Love playing Django.
Love having him. Speaking of the lovely Shannon playing Lydia, tell us a
Yes.
little.
So I'm Shannon. I play Lydia. You can find me on all social media at sroby25, SROBY25. As Sean said, of all of our programming, his DM's Corner just started this week and it was wonderful. So the VOD is on our Twitch if you want to check it out. Our merch shop also went live a few weeks ago, and it's really cool. I mean, I'm super biased, but it's really cool. And there's a lot of cool stuff. We have a shirt for every character and our new logo. So check that out. teespring.com/store/ParadiceRPG. And you can find Paradise on all social media at ParadiceRPG. That's PARADICE. RPG, no spaces, like you're rolling a dice. Thanks so much for having us. This is so much fun.
Glad. Let's flip it over to Shelby, who's been playing Era, or spooky necro elf.
Ooh. All right. So I'm Shelby. I'm from the channel Whistle While You Work, where I tell stories of my D&D antics and just draw whatever D&D stuff comes to mind. You can find me on YouTube at Whistle While You Work, spelled Wystle. You can find me on Twitter at WhistleWis, or on Instagram at Whistle While You Work.
Perfect.
That's about it.
And then last but not tiniest, Sloop Brine Scale.
Yeah, my name's Mike Fardy. I am the DM for the Wonders and Blunders podcast, which you should definitely check out. We have been going for about a year now. We're in our 50s of episodes, and now is a good time to tune in. We've got a couple of side sessions happening, just sort of exploring the world around the main campaign. So there's lots of fun stuff coming out. New episodes every Monday. wonderandblunder.com and at wonderandblunder on all social media. Check it out.
Excellent. And I am Kieran, also known as Agent Number 1 on Twitch and elsewhere on the internet. I am a new DM for this channel, but a regular player here around for Role4Damage, this wonderful place that has brought us all together. I play here on a couple of other shows during the week on Monday and Friday nights, Australian time. There's a Warhammer-themed Empires of Darkness campaign and a plane-hopping 17th level crazy adventure where everyone is crying in recent episodes, called Heart of the Plains. So if you like more Twitch D&D, by all means, check us out. I have a few thank yous on behalf of the channel that we want to shout out, that we love shouting out every time. First and foremostly is Brepai, our incredible character artist. You can see the perfect Django Weatherby Teague there right now, switching into Era Blackwood. Brepai does a great comic and lots of other works. The Twitter is like, I don't know where Brie finds the time to draw as much as she does. It's incredible. Absolutely check her out. Other people you should check out is, of course, Wonders and Blunders, the podcast. We're give a little shout out there. And then finally, our sister Western Australian gaming channel called Nerds of the West, where we steal players from and they steal players from us. They do board games, and recently with lockdown and whatnot, they've started doing more video games and stuff on their channel as well. But they're a great group that do some really, really cool stuff. Like, I saw somebody playing Doom on a Guitar Hero controller. It was crazy. I don't know how. I literally don't know how people's brains can rewire that to make it happen. It's cool. I love the stuff people do online. It's crazy. I love the internet. Chat, thank you so much. Of course, you guys have been incredible and wonderful all night. I've seen you zooming by. I've been trying to read what I can. What I can't, I will read on the VOD, I promise. Thank you so much, everyone, for dropping by. The last thing we like to do every night is pass along a little raid, to which I'm going to let our man in the clouds, behind the curtain, Vegemite Dangerous, come out and say a few words.
Hey, guys. That was fucking great. I loved that episode. It was like wholesome, and I don't know if I trust Sloop. I'm not gonna let him near bed sheets, that's for sure. That is now a lethal weapon. Great episode. It was thoroughly enjoyable. I'd like to thank everybody in chat, all the biddies that have been thrown around, all the new followers who have come in. Welcome to the Guild Hall. We love having you here. If you want to get more involved with the channel, of course, you can jump onto our Discord. Or follow us on Twitter to get local updates. Check out all the rest of the shows that have been mentioned: Heart of the Plains, Empires of Darkness, Internship. In fact, I'm going to self-plug.
I forgot the internship. I'm so sorry.
No. This week is the final episode of the internship. We are at the literal pinnacle of the whole story. It's been a 2-season-long, 26 episodes each of a campaign, and we are coming to the very end, where the group is facing off against what is called the Void, a literal fleet of mind flayers. It is intense. We had a near-character death who was saved by, Deus Ex Machinima. So, we are really there. Please, come along 7 p.m. Thursday nights, WAST, 7 a.m. EST. If you want to have a look at that and see what happens at the top end of a Vegemite Dangerous campaign. But as Agent said, we are going to pass along the love because we are wrapping up. So I've been checking out the channel to see who's out there, and we have a community member who is playing D&D herself. I believe she is DMing for the first time. So I thought it'd be a great idea to jump on that and surprise her with a mega raid. So come along and follow us through a raid to any actor who is DMing on her own channel for the first time and show us some love.
Lovely.
She is fantastic. Her name is actually Nadine. She's been a player on our channel before when we had Dicey Splice Crew on, and she's played in a couple of one-shots as well. She's a lot of fun to play with. They're a great crew to hang around with. So we'll chuck you over to them for the raid, show them your love, post up your favorite raid emotes, tell you where to go, where you came from, and of course, ask lots of questions about their show. So we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Ruffians. Goodbye.
Bye.
Masquerade.
Bye.